and welcome to this study guide on Autumn Waltz. So Autumn Waltz is from the Bridges series. I'm a big fan of the Bridges from Royal Conservatory of Music. It's such a great series, especially the beginning books. The first few books are great. I become less impressed as they get higher in level. But the beginning books, the preparatory level, the first couple of levels, there's a really wonderful set of repertoire at the lower levels of playing. So this Autumn Waltz is the very first tune in the very first book, the preparatory book. You'd think then that it would be really, really simple, but it's not. Actually, there's a lot going on musically here. And so in this video, we're going to talk about it, how to learn it, ways to practice it so that you are building your skills, not just learning the notes, but actually building skills that will help you in upcoming pieces and your next piece and the piece after that, and how to bring this thing up to a beautiful, polished level. Let's jump right in. So the first way that many people will start learning is they just start at the beginning and start playing notes. And that's not typically the best way to practice. You just play from the beginning and you just keep playing through until hopefully one day you get it. It's not the best way to go. So the first thing that we want to do whenever we get a new piece of music is to break it up into smaller sections. And ideally, these will make sense musically in some way. And you can typically just know that from hearing it. For instance, this is the first line of music. It doesn't stop in a musical place, right? It's obviously the middle of a phrase. Really what we have is it goes to right here. That's the beginning part. And then we start doing something again. We can hear it, it comes back similar to the very beginning. So if you're listening for those type of things, then practice in those kind of small sections. If you don't have those, then practice, or if you can't figure those out in any kind of piece, then make a small section. Could be just a measure or two. Could be just these first three notes. But the general rule is always go one note past the bar line. This is a bar line right here and right here. Whenever you do, so if we're just going to practice just this first measure, then go to right here. That's the place to go. Don't stop at the bar line. It is almost never musical sounding. And so one of the best ways that you can practice is to just always go over one more note past the bar line. Then you could add these bass notes if you wanted to, maybe go one note past that. These go to there, that goes to there. So you can do this one bar at a time, 2 bars at a time, plus one note, something like that, or to right there, whatever it happens to be. So the first thing is make your small sections and just practice in little chunks, and then give that a few repetitions because we have to learn through repetition. So with that said, let's just take this first little bit and take a look at it. So now that we've got a lot of ink on this page, right? We have this right here. What does this mean? Well, that's the speed. How fast are we going to go? That's our ultimate speed. So we don't want to practice at that speed because it's fast. And so we might get a lot of mistakes trained in there. And so we don't want to do that. So that's just a final goal, something that we will eventually go to. This 3-4 here, right? That means that we're going to be counting to 3 in each measure. Between each bar line, there will be 3. This rest gets 1, then that's 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, on and on and on for the entire piece. That's how we're going to be counting is 1, 2, 3. The next little piece of ink that we have on the page are these M's and I's and P's down here. And there's some A's later on. This is really important. These are the right hand fingering. So in case you don't know these, P is the thumb, I is the index, M is the middle, and A is the ring finger, annular, P-I-M-A. And this is the right hand fingerings. The numbers on here are the left hand fingerings, 1, 2, 3, 4. So whenever we see this O up here, right here, O, 4, there's another 4 right here. That has to do with the left hand fingering. O is just open. You play the string with no finger on it. So the question is, as you're playing this, is it really important to get the right hand fingerings right from the very beginning? And it is. And it's not in any one given piece, but it is overall. So what's going to happen is you could play this entire piece with your thumb, right? And if you're just learning to read music, which you may be, then there's a lot of information going on this page here. There's the different notes and strings, there's rest, and so what left hand fingers, what right hand fingers, there's so much information. So this is how I recommend doing it. Look at it first and say just the right hand with no left hand. You have to visualize where the left hand notes are because that gives you where the string is. But then you can just play with the M finger. We have the M finger playing on the first string, and then the second note is the I on the second string, and then the M on the second string, and then a couple of bass notes on the fifth string. So you can do this just the right hand alone, and you can just stop there, even though I didn't go over the bar line. That goes over the bar line. And so then what happens is, as you get to more complex music, you have to know how to use your right hand correctly, because oftentimes there will only be one possible way at the speed that you'll need to play it that the right hand will work. Otherwise, there'll be a finger that's doubling and it's not fast enough to do it, and it'll just always sound like a hiccup or something. So as time goes on, being able to be aware of your right hand fingerings is incredibly important. However, when you're first learning a piece, it's typically the last thing to pay attention to, because there's all these other squeaky wheels, like what note is it? Where do I put my finger, right? We can cheat with this, but we can't really cheat with our left hand. If we don't play it in the right place with our left hand, the note doesn't come out. We don't hear the melody. So the right hand oftentimes is the one that gets ignored and cheated. So then we can practice it just by itself. Doesn't mean we have to practice it a million times by itself, but enough to know what's going on. Of just a few times. Then we can do just the left hand by itself. Open, 4 on D. This could be 3 on D. It could be 4 on D. Either one will work. Dum, bum, bum, boom, boom. Now, this is the next really important part. We've done the right hand, we've done the left hand. Let's take a look. Musically, we have stems going up and we have stems going down, right? This is because this is two lines of music. There's a top line and a bottom line. It's a question and answer type of scenario. So as we go through, it's really important that the long notes hold while the other ones go on underneath it. So this needs to hold. This needs to hold. That one's actually tied. That means don't play that when it's tied together like that. And so then that needs to hold. So then as you go, make sure that this note holds, and then that holds. Hold the D while the other bass note plays underneath it. Instead of, because that's not the line. So holding those long notes is going to be one of the main things that you'll have to train yourself to do, because even though you've moved on to another note, there's still something for that note to be doing, and that is to continue holding and not prep with the right hand and not, do anything else to stop it. Couple of notes on the right hand. As you're playing this, don't brace with the pinky, don't brace with the wrist. You can touch right here on the instrument, but that's about it. And other than that, just float above. If you'd like to, you can put your thumb on the string behind the note playing with the I and the M, or you can let it float. And so that's the deal. Don't brace one way or the other. It creates a lot of tension. Well, if we look at this from a pull-out bird's eye view, then what we're having here, and if you play along and listen to it, then there are larger sections in the music. I'm playing a little faster just to get it through. So that was like a question and answer. And now we're going to start over again. So this first part was an A section. And now we're going up to the B section here. And then that's the B section. That's like a piece into itself, isn't it? So we have two different things. And these are normally 8 bars. Very oftentimes, these phrases will be 8 measures long. And that's exactly what this one is as well. And so then you can go through. Once we get to this point, where we've arrived at our second 8-bar block, then all of a sudden, if you'll notice, there are no more fingerings through here. And that's because this is a repeat of the A section again. And so they didn't put fingerings. So one of the things that you can do if it's going to help is to go in and write the fingerings down, M-I-M. Just as a note, M always starts in this piece. for the A section and the B section, the M is always the first finger for the 3 or 4 note blocks. If you'll notice that, like there's an M that starts this right here. So every time that there's a 3 or 4 note chunk of notes, it's always M that starts. Once you get into the C section down here, it doesn't. But for the first couple, the first 3/4 of the page, it does. So then if you need to write the fingerings down in this section. Also worthy of note is this note right here. This is a C sharp. So instead of the first fret C, now we're going to play the second fret C. And continue to hold it, of course, as it keeps going. And yeah, and that's how it goes. Once we get down here to the very ending, then your notes are, this is really important, hold the 2. So we're going along. This is the last line. And now the one finger comes next to it. So you're going to have to do a little bit of a rotation here. With the thumb, 1 on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, 3 on the C, 5th string, 3rd fret, and keep holding all that stuff except for the 3, which has to lift. So you have, and just keep holding it. It doesn't say to hold the E, but do anyway because it's part of an A chord. It's an A minor chord, which is the chord. And that's how to play the tune. So that just gets us all the way through. Remember, practice in small sections and just go bit by bit, make nice repetitions, pay attention to the right hand. Don't brace with your wrist or with your pinky. Just go little bit by little bit. Continue to hold the notes over the under part because it has each part's cascading bass melody over itself. So I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you would like more instructions, you may consider the Woodshed program. You can click below and find some more information on it. And it's a comprehensive program, step by step, all the way through classical guitar technique, reading music, all the way playing from the very foundational basics, all the way up to a very high level. And it's very organized and step by step. If you would like to, feel free to peruse that and join if you would like to. Thanks so much for watching this tutorial on Autumn Waltz, and good luck in your practice.